Welcome to RhomanysRealm, I'm Romany and today I'm updating you on my travel sketching kit that I keep in my car. Yesterday I did my very first live car vlog on Instagram, which was a lot of fun. Sadly, Instagram doesn't record the vlog, so I don't have the footage. I didn't realise it was live and that was it. I really enjoyed doing it live. It was a lot of fun, so I think we're going to be doing that again. One of the questions I had was, what's your kit now? What are you taking with you? So I thought I would show you. As many of you will know, I'm also one of the leaders of the Urban Sketchers Stoke-on-Trent group, and once or twice a month we go out sketching. So up until I got my car, I was having to be very careful about what I took with me because I couldn't have it too heavy. Obviously you want it to be portable and easy to carry and everything else. Now I've got my car, I can take a little bit more with me, but I'm still trying to keep it minimal. The most minimal I go is this. This is a Galaxy Note 10.1. I've got Autodesk Sketchbook on it. It's an Android. I understand that if you have an iPad, Procreate is the best one. That's what Rob Sketcherman uses, and he's like the ultimate in urban sketching on a tablet. So if you've got an iPad, you want to go and look that up. But I use Autodesk Sketchbook on my Android and it works great. Because I have an in-car charger, I can take this with me, do an hour or so of sketching. The battery lasts for hours, but I can do some sketching, and even if I've only got a very small battery, sorry, I'm trying to avoid the glare. Even if I've only got a very small amount of battery left, I can pop it on the car charger as well, and it will fast charge in about 15 minutes, and that'll be enough to keep me going for an hour. So that's really handy, and if nothing else, what I've started doing is popping this in my handbag. Because my handbag goes everywhere with me, so I can pop this in my handbag, and if I want to go and sketch, I can pop my handbag in the boot, take this with me, and this is all I need to carry. So that is a perfect solution for digital sketching. When I want to sketch big, I have my big C. White's notebook. It's a 9x7 hardback, which is great, and they're quite flexible. I've got my Tough Band on here from Graffiti, which is awesome. It's really handy for all sorts of things. So this is a C. White's of Brighton 9x7 hardback. It's not watercolour paper, but it's good enough for watercolouring on. And this is mostly what I use when I go urban sketching. This has pretty much become my Urban Sketchers book. One of the things I really like about it is that I can manhandle it quite happily, and the binding holds up. See, the binding goes completely flat. I also find it quite useful to hold it like this. And if you're standing up sketching, you know, you've got it rested on your arm, you can put your hand through there. You can even put your watercolours under there if you want to, and it's quite easy. You know, I can pop my pen under there. It's quite easy to have all my bits and pieces if I'm standing up sketching. So that is a really handy thing. So that's my big sketchbook for the Urban Sketchers group. And this, what I carry it in, because obviously sometimes it's raining, I use this as a seat. This packaging material, this thermal, it stays the same temperature no matter what. So it's really good for keeping heat out, because you don't want to be sat on a cold stone wall or something. So I pop my book in there, and then when I take my book out, I've got something to sit on, and this is waterproof. I bought this for like 50p in a Wilko's, I think. It came with a A5 size one as well, which I use as my daily stuff. So these are both optional, and I don't take both of them, I take either or. I don't want to be packing materials in and out, in and out, in and out all the time, not ever being able to find anything. So what I've done is I've set up a specific sketching bag, so I no longer pack this all the time. This stays like this and it lives in the car. I got this little bag. It's a toiletry bag. It's clear. It's got a long strap that's adjustable, so I can use it like a handbag. It's got two carry straps as well, which are very long, so I can hang it on my arm while I'm sketching. So if I've got, let's say this is my black book, for instance, if I've got it like this, I can hang it on my arm and I can easily access what I've got in here as well. And when I'm in the car, what I do is I hang this over the headrest so it hangs on the passenger seat. So I can just open it up and I've got everything I need right here in my bag. For the days when I go out with just my keys and my phone, this is in the car. So if I stop somewhere and I think, oh, I wish I'd brought my sketchbook, guess what? I've got my sketchbook. So let me show you. This has got a large pocket at the back, a big pocket in the middle, and this, it looks like two pockets, but it's actually one pocket. So if you wanted to, you could have something on this side and something on this side and just open it on one side. But I've just got one thing in there. So in the back pocket, the large pocket at the back, I have an A5 sketchbook. This was originally an A4 sketchbook. It's again one of the Sea Whites of Brighton, what's it called? The basic sketchbook, beginner's sketchbook it's called. It's just a soft, this is how it starts out, and it was A4. And I cut it down to A5 across the middle, so I've got a landscape book. And I put in the back a piece of this hard envelope. See, it's just stiffener with a pocket, so I can put stuff in there. If I go somewhere that I've got receipts or whatever to put in my journal, I can pop those in there. This is sturdy enough to draw on because it's got that stiffener in the back. So when I don't have anything else with me, if I've come out without my journal, without my tablet, without anything, I've got this, it's in the car. In here I've got my watercolour tin. These are my professional watercolours. Some of them. These are the Winsor & Newton Cotman colours, and I've also got my Holbeins in here. Now when I'm urban sketching, I tend to just work in watercolour with a few odd bits and pieces of pencil or pen. Whereas when I'm at home, I do full mixed media, layer, 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 start with a watercolour and add stuff on top. So when I'm working at home, I don't need as good quality watercolours because they're going to be covered up by stuff eventually anyway. I've got my good watercolours in here, and again this is a nice handy travel palette. Don't listen to anybody who says these are expensive. Go online, on eBay, look for the Chinese sellers, and you can buy them for, I bought this one for $3.99. Yes, it took 3 weeks to get here, but who cares? It's the one with the rolled side, so it doesn't have any leakage. You can hold it like this. Yeah, my hands are a bit small for that, but a lot of people hold it like that. It's perfect size for watercolour on the go. Nice and light, works very well. I've also got my 3 watercolour brushes. These 2 are the Kuretake ones which I use for actual painting. I've got a medium and a small because I tend to do quite detailed colour. And then I've also got this one. This is one of the Pentel Aquash. This is the really big Pentel Aquash, which I don't use. I've never used this for painting. So what I do is I fill it up with spare water because it's got a nice big hefty barrel. It's got a much bigger barrel than these. So I fill this up with extra water, and then if I need to wet my paints or I want to do a wash of water and then add colour, I've got this just plain water with me. And I usually have one that's got grey ink in it as well, but it's not in here. I don't know why it's not in here. It might be in the car. Again, one of these, but it's the medium, and it's got Sumi ink with water. So it's just a grey wash, which is nice for doing shadows. I've also got my little pop-up box. Again, this is really handy. You can just hook it on when you're watercolouring. You can just hook it on your finger, or you can hang it somewhere. Put it down somewhere. You can get water just about anywhere. This came in a twin pack from the works, and I have one slightly bigger that I use for the dogs as a drinking bowl. It's nice and handy. Here I have 2 of these little plastic pouches. Now I could have put everything loose. I thought it would be better to put them in pencil cases. That way, if I want to take just my book and my pencils, or just my book and my pens, or just my book and my drawing stuff, I can do that. So I can travel even lighter. I don't even have to take all this with me. I can leave it in the car and I can just have these. So, like I say, this is just offcuts of pencils. I've got all sorts in here. I've got my Caran d'Ache ones that I've had since high school that I'm still using. I've got some Prismacolors, that usually my favourite colours, where I've, like, that's Parma Violet. I've gone through about 6 of these. And they're all nubs now. So, you know, just odd bits and pieces. I've got a couple of Faber-Castells to pop in there as well. These are my Papermate flares. I bought the full pack of I think it's 10 colours. And then I bought the autumn pack as well. So, because in the original pack there are no browns, which is not good if you're urban sketching. So these two, this one and this one, are the autumn pack. You can buy it on, well, I bought mine on Amazon. It's just a 4-pack. They're quite expensive. They're almost as expensive as these, but for me it was worth it to get the 4 colours that I needed. The 3 browns, I've got a dark brown, a red brown and a gingery orange brown, and the grey. So those are there, and then I've got these, and I should have a black in here somewhere. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, it's a 14 set, that's right. I should have a dark pink, like a magenta colour, and a black, but I used them just now. So they're somewhere on the desk. I'll put them back in a moment. So that's my Papermate flares. And the reason I like these is because you can do fine work, you can do thick work. They don't generally bleed on most paper, and also they're water soluble, so you can use them with a brush pen and sort of blend them out to a certain extent on the right kind of paper. And since I use cartridge paper, which takes ink and watercolour, these work quite well. So that's my colouring tools, my watercolours, my pens and my pencil nubs. And in the front here I have my drawing sets. I've got a black pen here. This is my Uniball needle. Micro. It's like teeny tiny needlepoint pen, which is completely waterproof, so that sits there. That's the one I just grab. If I'm doing nothing else, I will just grab that one and draw in pen. I do take my Lamy with me if I take my journal. So yesterday I drew with my Lamy because I had my journal with me and I drew in my journal. This is my sketching kit, so if I'm just going to go and draw, I don't have to take everything with me. I've got one of these. This is a little clip light. It's a reading light that I picked up, and you can just pop it onto your sketchbook, and it's got a really bright LED white light. So if you're losing the light towards the end of the day, this is really good. Or if it goes really cloudy, you know, our weather's very unpredictable. This is a brilliant option to be able to see what you're doing, especially if like you start off in bright sunshine and then the sun goes in, you can still have your bright light to compare colours. That just lives in there as well. And this is my sketching packet. Oh, there's my ink. So I've just got the basics. I've got a single roll of washi tape. I picked up a black and white. It's like a newsprint, and it's got, the white is see-through, so the black shows up but the white doesn't. So it's completely innocuous and it goes with everything. So I've just got that in there. I've got a small ruler. I've got a small pair of safety scissors, the ones with the rounded ends. They should actually have a lid on them as well, but I can't find it at the moment. I've got one of my Faber-Castell sharpeners. I've got a couple of these, and I've also got the triangular one. The triangular one is better, but this one will do on the go. And then I've got a paper clip, just one, just in case. I always have bulldog clips clipped to my sketchbooks. Every sketchbook I've got bulldog clips on, so I don't need to carry extras. I've got my skin tones, because obviously most of what I do, unless I'm specifically going out to do urban sketching, is drawing people. So I've got my 4 skin tones. These are Faber-Castell. I've got dark flesh, medium flesh, light flesh, and pink Madder Lake. There we go, that's the 4 I use for skin tones. I've got my Uniball Jetstream. This is the Hobonichi pen from last year, possibly the year before. 3 colours, nice and fine, works like a ballpoint pen. I've got my beloved Pilot G-Tech 4 C4 Colito type pen, which is the uber tiny, teeny 0.38, very, very, very tiny nib. It's also water soluble, so I can use it for washes or colouring or drawing or whatever. It's a very versatile pen. I think this is one of the Kuretake pens, but I can't read the Japanese on it. It's just a brush pen. I use my good brush pen, my Pentel pocket brush at home, so I threw this one in here so that I've always got a black pocket brush with me and I don't have to keep taking them in and out all the time. I've got this is my Pentel that I was talking about. This is just Sumi ink and water, and I just refill it when it needs it. I've got a red and blue, I think this is Caran d'Ache. I think it's a Caran d'Ache bicolour, but all the writing's rubbed off because I've used it quite a lot. I love this pencil. There's just something about the combination of drawing in red and shading in blue that I really like. I've also got my Cretacolor. Oh no, it's not a Cretacolor, this one, sorry. It's a Kohinoor Progresso. It's just a regular HB graphite stick. It's one of those woodless pencils. And it's just really handy to have something that you can lay down a lot of pencil really quickly. I use it for doing rubbings and things. And of course I've got my retractable eraser in there as well. So I've got a nice versatile kit now where if I've already drawn something I can just take my watercolours, or if I just want to watercolour I can take my tin and a watercolour brush and my pen, or if I want to do pencil colouring on something that I've already coloured I can just take my pencils, or I can take the whole thing if I want to start from scratch. It's a really versatile kit. I like being able to completely see through it, and one of the reasons I did this was, one, I like to be able to see what I've got and be able to figure out straight away if I've got it with me without having to rummage through everything. But also, I would not normally leave this in the car on show, but one of the reasons I picked a completely clear see-through bag, it was specifically so that if I do accidentally leave it in the car, there's nothing of value in here. It's obvious straight away that all there is in here is pens and pencils. It's an art bag. It's nothing that's going to be of any value. There's no wallet or anything in here. It's very obvious. So there you go. That is my kit, my on-the-go art bag. Very versatile. I'm really happy with this setup. My big book in its case, and then I've got my tablet that I sometimes take with me, and if I take my tablet I don't take anything else. There you go. I hope that was interesting for you, and tune in again because I'm going to try and do YouTube Live Mobile at some point because I've got that option now. Only one of my phones actually does it, and it's not the phone that has data, so I've got to do some jigging around with my SIM cards and things. But I'm hoping to do a live YouTube stream at some point, and in the meantime Instagram Live works great, it's just that it doesn't record. So you can follow me on Instagram at Rhomany and catch up with me there. If you have your notifications switched on, it will tell you when I go live and you can just tune in. Don't forget as well to follow at Miss Maddie's Gang, which is my setup for the dogs. They share their adventures over there. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you again soon.